First off, I want to thank the brave men and women who work behind the wall. I want to thank them on a national level because their job goes unrecognized.
How do they try to turn a guard?
Well, correctional officer. Sorry, I apologize. But correctional officer. How you guys doing today? Gangi, welcome to another episode of Tier Talk. You know, about a month ago, there was a major assault at South Baranowski Correctional Facility in Massachusetts. It was an assault that the unit was lost and multiple inmates attacked staff, and it was just a horrible situation. Russ did a breakdown of what happened. After a major incident like this occurs, we have to ask ourselves, what does staff expect from us? What can we do to bring back confidence to the staff who now have to go back into this position and be effective at their job? And there's two things that staff expect. Simple things. They're expecting attention to the issue, fair attention, and support. Two simple things. Those two simple things will give staff the confidence that they need to go back into that position again and be effective at what they do. When we come back from our sponsor, I'll tell you why those two things bring about that confidence, why staff expects that, but more importantly, why staff needs that. And it's sad for people not to be able to see that because it's such a simple thing. It really is. It should be so simple, it's automatic. Alright guys, so if you haven't, the show Tier Talks for you, you brave men and women that work in correction. So please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. We're going to go to our sponsor, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about those two expectations, attention and support. Stand by.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it, it's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
2 online courses available soon. Inmate Manipulation, the psychology behind inmate manipulation, taught by Anthony Gangi, and Complacency in Corrections, tactics to keep yourself alert, taught by Russ Hamilton, coming March of 2020. Thank you guys for listening to our sponsor. So we're talking about attention and support. You know, when this issue happened at South Baranowski Correctional Facility, the attention right after the incident, something that is fair and highlights the dangers of this profession, recognizes the brave men and women who work in this profession, it's needed. Because if we're ever going to be effective with the changes that need to come, the public has to be informed of the reality of what the dangers are on a day-to-day basis. And just nationally, we fail at doing that. There's just not enough support to put that out there. To say, hey, this is what these officers face every day. This is what the staff members face every day. This is reality. And now, once you have that reality mindset, what is it that you think we can do that can make it safe for them so they can be more effective at the job? And then the support, like I just mentioned, comes with those changes. Showing that you're zero tolerant for any assault on staff and making sure that the people that do it are held responsible. But also to be open to that dialogue with staff who are going through these concerns. You gotta have that dialogue. You gotta hear the concerns of the front line because they're dealing with it every day. Unfiltered. When that incident occurred, You shouldn't wait a month and change to visit the facility, because the families of the inmates who are now being locked down, again, lockdown will explain why it's happening, but you shouldn't wait a month until the families pressure you to go in there. You should have went in there the day after. Let the motivation be clear that, hey, I'm going there because this is what happened to the brave men and women that are putting their lives on the line to protect and serve. Let me see what I can do to help them. I mean, if you're planning on making a trip to the facility, the best time would have been right after the incident. Talk to staff, see what's going on. Bring attention to the concern, show support. Even by you just coming that next day and opening that dialogue with frontline staff, that's going to motivate them to go back on that post and be effective at what they do. Now, after a major incident, this is simple 101. We lock it down to kind of put the facility in a reset. Basically, something major happened. We need to identify every possible perspective. We need to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and we really have to exhaust all efforts, and that takes time. You know, it's not just about, okay, we got the 6 people we saw on video, we're good. No, there's more to it than that. Was this planned? Were there people that were trying to get involved that couldn't get involved? You know, you have to let the facility or the agency do what needs to be done to make sure that the facility can open back up in a manner that's still, as best as can be, safe and secured. And that's something that it slowly gets introduced back. And it's sad to say, it's not that we want to do this, but in order to protect the many, sometimes the rights of the few will get sacrificed for a few moments. But the bigger picture is that we have to lock it down because there's a wolf amongst the sheep. And we have to find the wolf. I think that's the adverse perspective that we have with those that don't understand the profession, is that we have that universal precaution to protect, but other people see that universal precaution to protect as a punitive measure, and it's not. I mean, think about if we don't make that effort, if we don't exhaust it, and we miss something and someone else gets hurt, we are going to be held responsible. The same family members that are pushing for these inmates to get out quicker will be the same ones who will say, well, you failed to protect my son, my daughter. So the best measure is, I'm sorry guys, got to slow everything down until we figure out what the hell just happened. And you have to give us the time to do that. And for those that are coming from the outside in, like the senator, it would have been great if you would have came the day after, because then you would be aware of what's going on, but also why it's happening. So when the pressures are coming from the outside, for you to work on lifting that lock up and just that lockdown, you would be able to explain, this is why it's in place. This is why it has to happen. But you didn't do that. And that's what kind of gets frustrating. What also gets frustrating is that we're reacting to an issue. We're not the one that started. We didn't come to work one day and say, hey, we're going to lock everything down just to do it. We're reacting. And that reaction has a measure of prevention. And for you to look at it as being punitive, it shows us in the world that you have no idea what we do. The dangers of this profession. This isn't a punitive measure. It's a preventive measure. It's a needed measure. The agency said it best. It talked about having to make sure that things are safe and secured before opening it up. It's 101. What we should be doing now is going after those 6 that we know are behind it and making sure that we support whatever punitive measures have to happen and make sure that we're zero tolerant against staff being assaulted. You know, those are the people that started this incident, from what we know now. And that's the reason why we're in a lockdown. That's the reason why everything seems to be limited. And again, it's all in an effort to bring things back to normalcy. That's the funny thing. It's all an effort to make things normal. You also have to look at the mindset of the officers or staff members after a major incident like this occurs. I mean, think about this. You just went through an incident in this unit. You saw the worst of what could possibly happen. And now you have to go back into that unit. And now you fully understand the potential of what could happen. And that's got to mess with your mind. So we have to also make sure that staff is ready to do their job, to jump right back on the saddle. We're human. You know, are they ready to go back into that unit and be effective, or do we have to maybe slow it down and debrief them? Make sure that, you know, there's no underlying mental health concerns that need to be addressed before we put these officers back onto these posts with the unit running at full speed. I think that makes sense. Plus detention. You know, their brothers were just assaulted. That's their family. And we have to make sure that we don't have, that staff doesn't have that generalized animosity where they go after every inmate. We have to make sure that their mindset's correct, that they trust that we did what we need to do to make sure that those people that were involved are being held responsible, so they feel comfortable knowing that, okay, we're taking care of the issue. And then we can go ahead and introduce them back into that world. These are natural human reactions. But again, it's exhausted measure. It takes time. It's not meant to just happen overnight. But the key here, it's attention and support. Staff lives matter. Next time when there's a major incident, go to the facility at that moment. See if there's anything that you can do to help staff, to make them more confident at what they need to get themselves back into. But more importantly, get an understanding of the process and be the buffer. Instead of trying to facilitate more complications, be the buffer. Say, hey, I went to that facility, this is what's happening, and this is why it's happening. And at this time, we have to let the agency do what needs to be done. That's the reason why you're there. You can explain to the people the measures that we have to take to make sure this facility continues to run in a safe and controlled manner, especially after an incident like this. And if need be, if you have to showcase that incident, show it. Let the public see how dangerous this job is. Let the public get an understanding of why the facility had to be locked down. And more importantly, push for the fact that it's a preventive measure, not punitive. It's preventive. That verbiage is killing us. But I would love your thoughts on this. It's a very interesting topic. I'm thinking we need attention and support. Maybe there's other things that you're thinking that staff could utilize after a major incident, especially out in Massachusetts, south of Baranowski Correctional Facility. But it's a good topic, worthy of discussion. I'm just being fair in how I express it. But my hearts go out to those brave men and women that work out in Massachusetts. You guys handled it. You guys are handling it. And it takes time to get that mindset right to go back and be effective. But I have no doubt in my heart that you're resilient and you'll still get the job done. As always, guys, the show is Tear Talk. If you haven't, please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. The bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. Stay safe.